It is time for the techsytalk virtual showcase. This is perhaps one of my favorite events that we do all throughout the year. We do have our big techsytalk global conference, which is amazing. But this event that we do, and we're live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, multiple locations in all of those places. This is just like such a fun format. So I see you guys coming in already watching live. Hello, welcome. Please let us know that you're here on whatever platform you're watching. Go ahead and use that chat. That chat is going to be hopefully very, very busy. And we're going to be pulling in your comments from all of the platforms where we're watching today. So let us know that you're here. Super, super excited to see that people are already jumping in. This format is something that we started a little bit after the pandemic because we know that there are just so many amazing tools and technologies. And I talk about them in a few of my favorite things that we do at techsytalk Global. I try to blog about things and put messages out to the world, but it's hard to keep up. And everyone is trying to figure out what are the tools that are out there? What's really great? How does this work? And so this format is like in my opinion, as a planner, one of the best formats to learn about all of these different tools, because there is just so much happening and there's just too much to keep up on. So the format for today, super easy. I'm going to probably cover it one more time before we kick off. But the format is each company has only 8 minutes to tell you about their product. We've asked them to share 3 specific things. What is the product? Why are they better than the competition? And what's the best use case? And this is really for us as planners to help hone in on, is this company interesting for the kinds of events that I do? We have all seen 1,000 websites, actually probably way more than 1,000 of these company websites. We've all seen a ton of demos. They usually last an hour. I can't tell you how many 1-hour demos I've sat through. And at the end, I'm like, I'm still not really sure if they're a good fit for what I do. So we're asking them to just hone in, and this is going to be hard for them. 8 minutes goes really fast, and they're used to talking about all the features and functionality. Today, it's not about that. Today, we're just asking them to tease you, to show you why you will want to work with them. The goal, of course, is for you to then highlight the few that you really enjoy and reach out to them directly. So, of course, we'll ask each of them to tell you how to reach out. How do you learn more? You are not going to be able to leave today knowing that X company is the perfect fit for your events, but you definitely are going to leave knowing that out of these 9 companies today, a few of them are really, really interesting to you. So see, we already have lots of you coming in. Make sure you guys are saying hi in the chat. I see we have a Facebook user from Montreal. If you are watching on Facebook, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook. I'll try to post this, or if anyone is, very generous and wants to post this in the comments so I can put it on screen. If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, it's just a click of a button. It gives us access to see your name and your face. That way we know who is watching from Montreal. I see Sophie is here. Very excited. Rob, we got the Canada crew coming. That's amazing. Another user from Minneapolis. Elizabeth, she is watching us on LinkedIn. She's looking forward to this event, and so many other comments coming in. Hi, Tess. How are you? Wonderful. She's like the queen of event tech as well, so she knows all of these different programs probably, but very excited. We are seeing lots of comments come in. I won't be able to say hi to all of them, but thank you. First of all, hi from Germany. Thank you to Roger for typing this in for me. So go to streamyard.com/Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. If you're watching us on LinkedIn or YouTube, you don't have to worry about it. We already have access to see whatever we can see. All right. So thank you for joining us. I'm not going to start late because this is super fast paced. So the companies have 8 minutes to tell you about themselves. Then they have 7 minutes to answer questions. So this is your opportunity to ask those more specific questions that will help you define whether or not you want to reach out to them and learn more. So use this chat all throughout. I'm going to capture as many questions as we possibly can. So let's kick off this first demo. It's not really a demo, this first showcase with Cadence. Really excited to tell you a little bit more about them and for you guys to hear about them. So let's take a second and jump to Michael Buckley from Cadence.
Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. Thank you to Liz and techsytalk as well for the virtual showcase. Um, One thing what are we? We are, a lot of times the term all-in-one platform is used quite liberally, but being able to have all of your events in the planning stage, hosting stage, execution stage, from beginning to end as an event website, native iPhone, native iPad, native Android app for live events, virtual events, hybrid events, including those 20 plus features and being able to integrate a lot of great platforms, such as techsytalk did last week in the global event. That for us is truly the all-in-one platform that you'll see here on the next slide. Now we have been, we just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. We began primarily on corporate events and the in-person side for that beautiful native app. But then of course, across time and all the different event types, different global regions, different use cases, that's what has helped shape what we call the all-in-one platform. Anyone that has worked with Cadence is quite aware that through the process 90 days beforehand, really getting to learn the ins and outs of each of your use cases throughout the event and after the event, continuously understanding the business need, the goals and the objectives is what creates these really high quality, beautiful branded experiences across all of your events. The next slide, this is quite a few of the customers that utilize Cadence. This could be across internal corporate events. This could be across conferences, fundraisers, galas, award shows, networking events, business marketplace events, communities, so many wonderful different customers in different global regions, different industries, different event types has been what helps shaped Cadence to what it is today and our 5-year anniversary. Now, some of the use cases, as well as the value differentiators. Starting with the value differentiators, actually, it might be a slide coming up, so I'll do the use cases. Cadence is perfect for all of your events continuously across time for the purposes of employee engagement and experience and customer engagement and customer experience. So an example of this is how we use Cadence ourselves. All of our employees are within the platform at the account level. All of our customers are in the platform at the account level, integrated with whatever CRM you may want, like HubSpot or Salesforce or other platforms. And across time, we host all of our events, meetings, and webinars. There's benefits to that in regards to all the templates, all the branding, all the logos, so that each event that we do becomes easier and easier and easier across time. But it's also about engaging with those employees across time, customers across time, and having all of these resources across time as well too. So for how we use this, we do our industry events and our customer events, such as the Cadence Collective that was in June through the event. We'll host our weekly webinars through the event for customers, prospective leads, partners, or just the industry as a whole. We'll use this internally for our POA or SKO to kick off the year, or our company retreats, or our quarterly cadence, which is our quarterly strategy meetings. And all of that is just hosted through one platform that all of our team members use, and then all of our customers use as well too. The next use case that I'd love to share is a company that is launching actually on October 28th called The Bridge. This is for the global travel industry, and this is for anyone that is in that industry to join continuously across time to gather amazing resources like the morning report, the news, trainings, industry education through videos, podcasts, websites, webinars, along with being able to communicate and network through the live feed, the messaging, the connections, and the video chats, and the direct messaging. But then also a marketplace so that buyers, suppliers, travel agents, airlines, hospitality, all can learn about the industry, connect with each other for shared professional and personal business purposes. A great example as well too. And we'll see, here's 2 testimonials that are just wonderful kind of customer love that I think really speak well to our differentiators being, if you want to convey your brand in excitement, in energy, really important that you have a platform that can live up to that brand in the color theme, in the imagery, in the videos, in the fonts, a lot of amazing ways. And then also socialization and networking. Alexa had an amazing cadence as the social lubricant for your audience. Wonderful comment there as well too. Differentiators, I'll do really quickly. 365-day across time, not just at the event level, but one level higher for your organization to engage with your employees, your customers, or your community. Truly fully brandable in a modern, beautiful event platform that makes it the energy and excitement really high for your events. Too many event platforms out there also don't understand the individual attendee and have personalized recommendations for them based upon their topics of interest. And perhaps most importantly, I was shocked to learn that over 50% of platforms do not have end-to-end customer success and support. We are in events because we love to learn about different industries, different use cases, but we also want to be there to help you from beginning to end in the ideation, in the execution, in the virtual production where applicable. That's what leads to incredibly high quality, successful events, which is one of our big differentiators. And I believe we're right at the 8 minutes, but here is just some recent recognition as well in regards to the Webby Awards for People of Voice winner, BizBash 500, and then also Most Fundable Company. And I think that is it. Thank you so much for the showcase and looking forward to the Q&A.
Way to kick it off, Michael. 8 minutes exactly. This is how we like it. We have a lot to get through, so I really appreciate you kind of speeding through that, but a lot to share. Cadence, I am a huge fan. If you guys don't know, we're huge fans of all the companies that are participating today, which is why we are showcasing them, obviously. But we did get to use, in case you missed it, we got to use Cadence for techsytalk Global last week, and it was just such a great opportunity to try a new platform. I love the visual elements. As you can see, just from this, even this thank you slide, the agenda, everything is very driven by the visuals. And I know that's very, purposeful on your part. We had a session, which if you guys missed, we'll be sharing. If you registered for techsytalk Global, we'll be sharing all of the clips, and we'll share a little more about that in a few minutes, but we'll be sharing all of the content. And so you definitely want to check out Michael's session on bringing emotion into events, which is super important. If you have questions for Michael, put them in the chat of whatever platform you are watching. I do see Mia is asking if this will be available for later viewing. Yes, we will make sure that you can see this. Michael, tell me a little bit more about you talked about the use case of the 365. Are there hybrid capabilities? You talked about the app, tell me how people are using this in the hybrid space, because I know a lot of planners are thinking that direction.
If you select when you kind of begin the event, this will be a hybrid event. That starts to do two primary purposes. One, streamline and simplify the process for the events team, the event planner, automatically create the two different designations of in-person, remote, and also not known at that moment too, to then have it be in either registration through Cadence or externally, whether you're using Cvent, Eventbrite, and integrating into Cadence. That then can allow you to completely curate the event experience based upon what's visible to everyone, what's visible to in-person, what's visible to remote. That also then has lots of logic in regards to the time zone display for in-person versus remote, being able to send communications just to one group or the other. Where does the location display for the in-person versus the online meeting link? And then for appointment scheduling, which is huge in Cadence, that's a huge experience as well too. And then for the attendee, understand whether I'm remote or in person, and there's going to be some shared experiences. Some are going to be separate based upon how my attendance is. And then when you share experiences as an attendee, knowing what the experience is like for the people watching at home versus the people that are there in person, so you can share that shared experience together as well too. So that's what we're doing currently within hybrid, and you can do that across the 365 days as well too, where on outside of event dates, that is essentially remote. That is the virtual experience.
Makes sense. And there is a lot of customization capabilities within Cadence. I was surprised even on the back end, just how many different things you can do, and sorting people into groups and just defining how you want people to experience the platform. Certain sessions only viewable to certain people. Can you tell us a little bit more about the support that you provide? Because I think, especially as you're describing the hybrid for any planner, I think it's just a little bit overwhelming. Like, okay, there's a lot of moving pieces here, but your team is really great. And you talked about the support a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure. Well, when we first started Cadence, we did think about how much configuration should we allow, because it can be sometimes, if you have that much power in front of you or that many different checkboxes, can that be overwhelming? And it can, to a degree, right? For those that do want that kind of level, right? If anyone uses Microsoft Word or Excel, they typically use 5 to 10% of what is within Word or Excel. But if you want to get really geeky with, complex values in Excel, you can. Similarly, on our side, we just have that options tab, which does have so many different configuration options, because those are all the use cases that we've heard over the past 5 years. So if someone does want to leverage it, they can, because even if you're using one platform, it is really important that each one feels different, looks different. And that's really important to us, that even though you're using that one platform. And then for the services side, often you hear, we only know what we know, right? And you could do a ton of the self-service model and really go through the knowledge articles and click each checkbox, right? But the Cadence concierge and customer success team are there to listen to your goals and objectives, then guide you through the ways in which you can configure the branding, the layouts, the different settings, to be really particular and curated for your event type and your business need.
Perfect. So we have time for 2 more questions. So the first one is from Tess. She wants to know a little bit more about the dashboard that you guys have.
Hi, Tess. Amazing to see her. She did an incredible kind of showcase or trial run through Cadence. That was an amazing presentation that she did. So the dashboard on the event organizer side, what we try to do is have number of accessed attendees, of course, what features they are utilizing, unique and total. That's really important, because if my number one strategic objective was sponsor engagement, because that's where my revenue is coming from, I want to know I have 1,000 attendees, how many are active, and of those active, how many are engaging with sponsors and each individual sponsor. Because then I might want to send out communications to the audience, check out our sponsors, or use the live feed to be like, check out our platinum sponsor. And then those individual sponsors also can see real-time visitors and how they engaged with their company to connect with them and set up meetings. So being able to have those dashboards across the overall event analytics, and then each feature allows you to be proactive in how you want to further engage with the audience, in the actual event itself or in the communications.
Perfect. So in the last 30 seconds or so, tell us how people can learn more about Cadence. If they've been like, oh, this sounds really interesting, where do you want them going?
We'd love for you to come to the website and request a demo, or contact us either for the purposes of you hosting your own events through Cadence, or if you're an event agency, a production company, a brand agency, creative agency, we'd love to partner with you as well too. So there's also the request a demo for partnerships, or our partners page to learn more about our affiliate program, referral program, and reseller program as well too.
Perfect. So we will send everyone to Event Cadence. Thank you so much, Michael, for staying on time, for sharing Cadence with us. Really excited for more people to learn about you guys.
Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy.
All right. So we are sticking with the time, moving right along. I wanted to make sure that we built in no downtime so that we really put the pressure on these presenters. So we're going to move right to our next one. Very excited to introduce Dimesh from Ingamio. They are another tool that we use at techsytalk. Loved them. And I know he's going to share a little bit about how that all went. So welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's a great opportunity to connect with everyone. So yeah, super excited to be here today.
Perfect. So I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm not going to talk, and then I'll be back for Q&A.
Yeah, awesome. So can we have my first slide, please? Okay, awesome. So we are Ingamio. We are a platform with a variety out-of-the-box solutions, sponsorship solutions for virtual hybrids and in-person events. And essentially, we are a triple value product. At first, we are delivering interactive experiences, engaging experiences to the audience. New ones, I would say. Secondly, we help event owners to drive extra monetization from their events, because each of these activations can be sold as a separate sponsorship package. And the third item that I wanted to mention, the third value proposition, is that we actually drive ROI for the sponsors, because all of these activities, they are customized with the content from the sponsors, and it essentially looks like a small sales funnel, a storytelling funnel that at the end of the day leads attendees to check out the special offer pages, some offerings from the sponsors, and we can track everything. We have analytics, we have reports behind each of the activations. So yeah, it's a measurable way to get ROI. So how it works? Basically, we take simple yet effective gaming mechanics like puzzles, the word search. We customize it with sponsors, content, colors, branding, storytelling, embeddable offering, call to action pages, links, buttons, and everything. And we embed this into event platforms. So this is how it works. And currently, we have 4 solutions that you see in front of you. So the first one is the interactive map. So the attendees could drop pins on it and see the pins of other attendees in a live mode. There is also the statistics on how many countries, how many cities and participants are engaged. The second solution is the word search. Yeah, we can customize it with the words about sponsors' products or features or values. So it could be literally anything. The puzzle, the jigsaw puzzle, again, we can turn any image into a jigsaw puzzle, and it's a great tool to tell stories. If you have some really cool pictures that has some really cool stories behind it, yeah, it could be a nice gamified way to tell this story to the audience. And the fourth solution that we have is the selfie booth. Yeah, I know it's not a gamification per se, but a pretty demanded feature in our days. So what we have created for the selfie, we have created several layouts, not just the solo layout where you have just your own image on the picture, but you can also have the layout that you can see here, the image of the attendee in the middle with the 2 keynote speakers on the sides, or it could be the layout where we have 1 keynote speaker and the image of the attendee, or we also have the image of the attendee and a big event banner. So everything is customizable. So what makes us different, I would say that we are a DIY platform. So anyone can create an account and have fun and create these activations. It's super easy, straightforward. It takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes to, put all of the contents into this activation and just start presenting it to the audience. We are easily integratable, and it's so great that I have a chance to talk after Michael, because at techsytalk we did this collaboration and we were integrated into the platform, and it worked really, really well. Yeah, and I would say that this is an affordable way to gamify, to bring gamified experiences to your audience. And like I said, this opportunity just expands your sponsorship menu. Yeah, so this is what makes us different. So regarding the best use cases, the next slide, thanks. So at techsytalk, we had this embedded puzzle into the menu of the events, and it was dedicated to Cadence brands, and we were telling the story about their amazing team, their amazing values, and it turned to be, I guess, one of the most popular tabs across the events, because we had more than 290 interactions with the platform, with the puzzle, and that helped to get about 150 views of the special offer page that we put there. And we were inviting participants to check out Cadence's websites with their story about the team, the values. So at the end of the day, we had about 150 visits of this page and about 62 clicks. That's the Cadence seen the traffic to their website. So we had a 41% click-through rate, and those of you who know the metrics about the click-through rates, the CTR, it's a really huge number compared to any standardized digital, campaigns and everything. And for about 3 minutes and 11 seconds on average, the participants were interacting and they were engaged for this period of time with the gamified offering from Cadence. So that was one of the best use cases that we've seen. The metrics were awesome. And can we see the next slide, please? The second case is how we embedded the map, and we had the statistics about 29 countries, 99 cities, and all across the world. And it was so cool to see these pins, the bubbles, and we could zoom in the map to see the precise region. Yeah, it was so good to feel that all of these pins are actual people and maybe like for the first time we have this opportunity to feel the connection across the whole world with all of the participants. And again, the metrics were awesome. You can see them in front of you. The 67% click-through rate is also a huge success. So that's our use cases, and yeah, we will be happy to answer any questions. And thanks so much, Anthony. He was the champion of the puzzle game. We took his testimonial right after the event, and he was so amazed how the Ingamio and Cadence work together as a bundle, as an integrated solution. So yeah, he left us a very generous and cool testimonial. Thanks so much for that. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Awesome. So keep those questions coming in. Let us know what you have for Ingamio. Of course, Anthony Vade left you an amazing testimonial, because I think he spent like 24 hours straight trying to beat these different games. It's really fun to see the way that it brings out that competition side of people, and the click-through rates were amazing. I think for sponsors to be able to get all those extra views was amazing. And like you said, the map, being able to create that feeling, especially for a virtual or hybrid event, that we're all in this together, we're celebrating this event together, etc. Okay, some questions coming in, so I'll stop talking. Alvita would like to know, are there other gamification ideas in your pipeline that you can share? Endless possibilities here.
Absolutely. So currently we're working on improving our map to have the second option. So here we saw the bubbles, and pretty soon we're gonna replace these bubbles with the profiles of the attendees. So yeah, people could just go and explore who is coming from which regions across the map, and it can be a clickable experience. So yeah, we can see the profiles and connect with the people based on the map. And a couple of more ideas like the crossword or the lottery, it's all in our pipeline. But the biggest thing that we're planning to do is to do the gamified networking features and multiplayer games as well. So it could be a collaborative, not a competitive, but a collaborative environment where people could do something together. And that is our roadmap for the nearest months.
That's awesome. I love the idea of the group collaboration, although I think the right people can make anything competitive instead of collaborative. One thing I wanted to point out, and you did mention this briefly, was how quick it is to set up. And I mean, I think every event professional can probably relate to sponsors coming in at the last second, things changing constantly. I know that our team was kind of saying like, okay, what's the latest we can get you something, as much as we plan in advance. I mean, really, in terms of setting up, let's say, the word search or the puzzle, what's the time commitment? How much lead time do we need to make this happen?
Well, technically, you can do it in 5 minutes, because you just open the platform, you create your accounts, and the experience is pretty much the same as if you were creating a PowerPoint presentation with just 4 or 5 slides. So you just go and upload the logos, you choose the color of the background, the text, the images. So I guess technically it's not that hard. I would say that having all of the content in place is the hardest thing, right? To come up with the ideas, what you want to put there, how to tie it up together so it will be a nice flow in the storytelling. Yeah. So we have these two options. If people want, they could do and explore everything themselves, and we urge them to do that. And if people don't have the time, or for some reason they are not able to do that, we can do everything from the scratch. So both of the options are available.
And I think what we did was plan out all of the activation and then kind of fill in the details for the puzzle at the last second. So in advance, we did all of that, like a planning of, and really your team is amazing at giving some ideas around how it all works and how to set it up and everything. One question I had for you, and if you guys have questions, put them in, because we only have about 4 minutes left. Another question I had for you was, we talked a little bit about the integration with Cadence and how we were able to embed the game directly in the platform. Is this something that you guys are working on with other platforms? How easy is it to integrate? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we do the integration through a simple iframe, and it's more on the platform side. So in this case, Cadence did a great job of embedding us not only into the menu, but right into the streaming of the session, right? So we have both of the cases, the embedded experience into the tabs and as well during the session. So it was so amazing that Cadence are so flexible to have all of these capabilities. But when we're talking about other platforms, yeah, the easiest and simplest way is to just create a new tab in the events menu. And this is a top place, right? A very premium spot. So this is kind of increases the value for the sponsorship package to be there. And yeah, so it's super simple and easy, like the simple iframe integration. And we have dynamic params for the URL where we can do the authentication of the users, automated authentication. So yeah, super easy and straightforward.
And there was a lot of customization. I know because people had already logged into our virtual platform, we were able, really, the Cadence team was able to work with your team. I was in the middle thinking, I don't know how you guys are going to figure this out, but to make it so that people could just kind of click right into the experience, and we were still able to track who's who without them having to fill out profiles all over again and all of that. So in terms of user friendliness, I don't think it gets much easier than that, right? So how would you like people to learn more about Engamio?
Yeah, you could check out our website. We have the option to schedule a demo with us. We have all of the contact details. And yeah, we have also in a chat my colleague Adam. Yeah, so or you can reach out to me through LinkedIn. So yeah, we're everywhere. So yeah, we can connect with potential prospects from any channel. We're very flexible.
Okay, perfect. We do have one more question, so I want to try to sneak it in from a Facebook user. Just a reminder to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, give us access to see your name. But this person would like to know other interactive games that are coming in the future. Do you have any new things in mind, or are you taking suggestions from our event planner audience?
Oh yeah, we definitely open to any suggestions because the world of gaming is so huge and so many ideas. But like I said, we want to focus on the improvements of the map. We want to build a crossword so we can have more meaningful connection with the content. And probably we're gonna do the lottery. So yeah, it can keep audience engaged up until the end of the event, and then we have this, virtual lottery.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. I love seeing you guys all here, users watching from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Dimesh, thank you so much for taking some time to join us and
Thanks
tell us
for
about
having me.
Engamio
It was a
today.
pleasure. Bye-bye.
All right. So here we are. We are on the third company and staying right on track with time, which is like mind blowing. So we are going to jump to another amazing company called Hubelo. I have learned a lot more about Hubelo in just the past few months, really. We've obviously heard of them, but really getting to know the product and really liking the product. I want to introduce Mikkel from Hubelo. Hello, hello. How are you? Oh, looks like you are on mute.
Hi, Liz. Can you hear me now?
Hey, how are you?
Okay, there we go.
I do want to hand it over to you for your 8 minutes, but I know you guys have some exciting news that you guys have been celebrating this week, so I didn't know if you want to start by sharing some of that.
Definitely. I actually have that within my slide. Can I just go ahead and
Perfect.
start sharing my screen?
Sure.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Here we
Well,
go.
thank you so much again for inviting us to this. And we love being part of your sessions here. And I'm glad our company can really be aligned with you. There we go. Okay, so wanted to share our big news for the week is that Hubelo's event platform is now reached Series B and raised about $125 million to really take on the event industry, really showing people that platforms really are a tool and resource that we will be using for the long term, not just for virtual events, but for in-person events too. That is where our investment money is going to be going, is focusing on a product that not only delivers a best-in-class virtual event, for virtual conferences, summits at trade shows, but also taking it all the way to your in-person events too. So just a little bit of background on Hubelo. It's coming in a bit as a dark horse within the platform. Now I'm noticing the slide I'm sharing is not the one showing up on the screen. Is that me?
So
Or is
I'm
that
sharing
you?
your slide, so you just need to let me know when to go to the next one.
Oh, okay. Are we still, can you go back to the first one?
Yeah, sure. Hold on. Right here?
Oh, okay. Actually, I think I just changed it. Okay, we'll just stick right there. So,
Okay, good.
okay, so now we're in Series B. So who you're looking at right now is Vaibhav, and he's our CEO. And he started this company in 2016 as an in-person event management software for registration as well as attendee algorithm. So the idea was to help people find people that they were looking to, that people they should meet with. Because, you know, we go to in-person conferences, you're trying to figure out who to meet, trying to figure out who to shake hands with, give your business card to, and you're just kind of bouncing around. So the idea at the time, 5 years ago, was to help people, maybe you should meet with Tim. Maybe you should meet with Sharon based off different sessions that you were going to. Maybe you're registered for the same sessions on in-person registration or anything like that, as well as sessions you're going to, as well as your profile, reasons you were there, things like that, that the system would match make you. So we had matchmaking as well as registration starting in 2016. Then 2020, that is when they built a virtual event platform on top of it. So Hublot did start as an in-person system first. Now we've gone virtual. Now we're going hybrid, and we're looking to basically return back to the in-person. So what we're looking at here is, well, it was actually our own internal conference that we did, that we had basically as our big annual meeting. So we were testing the new version 2 of our platform with built-in, everything's all in one. So it was built-in gamification, built-in contests, built-in Q&As, built-in surveys that we were utilizing there. You can actually see me. I'm like the second from the left, top down, waving like a maniac in the screen. And that was us trying to like, oh, hey, we're here for you. So if you can go to the next screen, please. So the reason people really love using Hublot is that they're really getting a different, better experience than they've seen on any other platform. About a year ago, 12, 14 months ago, everyone was asking, there's all these platforms out there and they seem to all be the same. What's the difference between the two? And the truth is yes, all the platforms were very similar a year ago. Today, that's not true as much. We were all building the same features, gamification, surveys, the things I just mentioned, as long with just like live engagement. The idea was to take a stream and make it more engaging, and trying to take something from Zoom into an actual event conference. People hadn't seen that kind of technology before, because honestly, much of that technology didn't really exist before 2020. So 2020, billions got poured into all these investments of companies who said they can handle that. So we were all building very similar features. Today, as we head to 2022, all the companies, the Hopins, the Bizabos, they're all looking to invest their money very, very differently. So some companies may be focusing on acquisitions, and they're going to actually compete with the industry, which we're not a fan of. They're going to become their own production company, become their own agency. That's not how Hublot's looking to invest. We're looking to invest it back into the product, to focus more on in-person technology, hybrid technology, still trying to answer the question of what a good hybrid event actually looks like, because there's so many different ways to actually do hybrid, not just one, as well as actually creating one of the largest partner ecosystems as well. So we're going to be lockstep with the industry to basically provide every type of resource that clients may need for their events, even to like food and beverage. And if you're hosting a virtual conference, you can work with the Hublot partner in that sense. If you need an in-person venue, if you need a DJ, if you need a host, if you need any type of service, we're not looking to be a one-stop shop as a platform, but we are looking to be a one-stop resource. But the platform in itself, people do love its all-in-one resource to basically take it from a broadcast stream. They can use it for their webinars, but also if they want to do additional engagement within the platform, as well as get really strong analytics of how well their event went in the first place, that is really where they can use Hublot from. And we're seeing this being used across the spectrum, from trade shows and conferences and annual meetings to summits and product launches and things like that. If you can go to the next screen. So with here, we are looking at unique branding experience. This is another area we're really looking to increase more investment on. Every company is looking to use the almost last 2 years of the pandemic to how can they really grow from this. At first, people say virtual events cannot work. Now they're saying virtual events can work, but in some use cases. Now we're looking to see how, wow, I can actually really grow my brand through virtual events in ways I could not before. So it was true, like at the beginning, you created a virtual event, it probably wasn't very good because the technology was so new. And now people are really looking to reevaluate these resources again and look at new platforms that are looking to invest the right way, really help them grow outside of their initial audience. In-person events is where you had your initial core audience. They always came to your in-person events. Now, when they turned virtual, your same in-person audience was not a big fan of your virtual events. And they likely still may not be. But virtual events is really where you can actually attract a larger audience, people that you don't know and they don't know you, people that you want your brand to grow into that audience. And that's how people are looking to strategically use virtual events more. And within that, they're going to need a platform to build their event on and help it to brand themselves as much as possible. Notifications being branded, emails being branded, the platform being branded. People are using the platform not only for themselves, but also for their clients, and help it white label it to their clients and make sure their clients have a really strong branding experience in there in ways they couldn't before. Next screen, please. So one of our biggest drivers that people love using Hublot and do come back isn't just so much the technology where most of the investment is poured into, but it really is we're the only platform in the industry that's offering 24/7 live support, weekends too. So we have about 9 different time zones that our company's in. Hublot's 300 people, full-time staff, and we're about 9 different time zones in the world, covering Asia conferences, European conferences, and only most recently US conferences. And we're quickly picking up steam on working with every type of event out there. But what they love and what they need in the future is live, ongoing support, 1-minute response time to any of their events, as well as we create Slack channels, we do text messages, we're on the phone. Saturday, 3 a.m., your event is you're stressed about it, we will be on the phone with you. Other platforms may still be on a Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but Hublot is the only one that's truly 24/7. Next screen, please. And we're just seeing this work throughout all events. The idea is you can create more events on an event platform than you could before. Build your in-person event with registration, really enhance the in-person event with the platform. You got registrations, you got one-on-one scheduled meetings. All of these things were happening on site. Use it to scan badges, and read it for going to different sessions, and then using it for the on-demand content. So even if you don't have a virtual audience, a platform is still where you build your in-person event on. And then in between your in-person event, that is where you can do some more experimental stuff. This is where you can actually grow more events in between your in-person event using virtual events to attract larger audiences than ever before. So this is really a huge marketing tool in this sense. And we're seeing it for everything from, I mean, it started with conferences, it started with external conferences, product launches. That's still where the biggest money is at. So those are always huge drivers, but we're even seeing it for recruiting events. People are using our booths not to man a booth anymore, but to actually even do interviews with people. They're using it for internal onboarding sessions as an ongoing resource throughout the year, not just for one-time events, but really as a place for multiple digital interactions to happen throughout the year. And a platform is where all of this information could be hosted throughout the year too. We could take over your events page, basically, of upcoming events, registration for those events, as well as any type of event you're looking to build. Not every event will need a platform, and we're not saying it's going to be for every event, but for any event that they really want more technology to lead more intimate interactions, which is what we're always been looking for, that is where platforms can really shine in new ways than we could back in early 2020. So it's a new way we're talking about hybrid. We don't want people to fear of this technology because people feared social media at one time, thinking it was going to take over their events. And now we've seen social media just as a way to enhance our events. Same thing with conference calls, same thing with a lot of technologies that have come in. There's always been a fear it was going to replace something, but we're not going to replace in-person events just as long as enhancing them and helping you create more in between those two. Thank you so much for your time, and definitely happy to take any questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So if you have questions, put them in. We only have a few minutes to answer. I want to just take like 5 seconds, a moment of celebration about the under 1 minute response time for support. Is that really possible in the event tech world?
That is actually the reason I took the job. I used to work with another event platform before this, and I really questioned that. I'm like, is that really a thing? So I started interviewing other people at Hublot. I'm like, is 24/7 real, or is that just something they say on their website? Turns out it was real. I went to the GT reviews and I saw that each person said their support person by name, their project person by name. And when I saw that support level was real, that's when I knew I wanted to take the job here at Hublot. And since then, it hasn't disappointed on that level of support.
Yeah, that is insane. I mean, it's one thing about the 24/7 because of course event professionals are always working in odd
Exactly.
hours, middle of the night, and that's of course when all the problems happen, right? But then
It's like, oh no, like my sponsor, 3 a.m. How did you get into the platform? Like,
yes,
boom,
yes.
you need to be on the phone with someone, and you can't wait till Monday at 11 a.m. to have that call. You got to have that call right now, and that's where we're looking to bring that hospitality factor into those burning questions and burning needs that come up right away, like events do.
Yeah, always. So in terms of hybrid, I know that you guys have done a ton, you guys are doing a ton of events for event professionals as well, a lot of education around not just hybrid, but all kinds of topics that event professionals should know about. Where can we tune in to learn more, not just about Hubelo, but about all of these resources that you're sharing with the industry?
So I recommend checking out hublo.com/events. Of course, our website has all the information, book a demo, things like that. We are always happy to do a demo. I mean, what company isn't? But we're looking to do some new upcoming events. This Friday, we have a Hublo partner. DJ Graffiti also has an event agency. He's going to be doing a music experience directly on the Hublo platform. You could register on hublo.com/events. We also have another event coming up called Submerge, and that's going to be on October 20th, a week from now at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So lots of areas you can absolutely not just learn more about us, but actually check out one of the events. Just see if you think it is a type of experience that might work for you. And we're going to have more ongoing events coming up. And that's one of my jobs, is to try to create more partner events that can use our platform to show people how to continually build better event experiences, since we're going to keep needing new features, and that's where our money is going to go. We need a new feature every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks. The things that people need today are not the same things people needed 6 weeks ago. So it's just an ongoing thing of what's new, and then being able to give that back to the industry so we can have a good say, a good seat at the table of how to define hybrid, and how can it really benefit the industry and every organization's events moving forward.
Perfect. So one last question for you.
Yep.
I made a big deal about the support just because, near and dear to my heart. But if you had to say the one differentiating factor between you and all your competitors in these virtual spaces, what would it be?
Differentiating factor, I'm just gonna lean on the support. I will let our
Okay.
reviews speak for ourselves. So if you Google G2 and then Hublot, you're gonna come across hundreds of reviews and testimonials. That's the same web page I used to take the job in the first place, because I saw how much the testimonials. Like, I did same research on some other platforms and people didn't have good things to say. Once I saw that people would actually say their client service manager by first name, that's where you can see difference than like, oh, I liked Hopin's features, but Gaurav here actually really helped us go from step A to step Z and take our events from here to there. That is like, I feel just, I'll let the testimonials speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So please check out that page too.
Matters a lot. I think maybe you gave me an idea. Maybe we need a showcase where the planners are talking about their favorite topics. So we'll have to think about that, their favorite tools. But thank you so much for joining us
That would
today
be
and telling
fun.
us a little more about Hubelo. We will definitely send people your way. So thank you so much.
Sounds good, Liz. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
Of course, likewise. All right. So here we are moving right along. We are just almost about halfway through our showcase. I can't even believe it. Love seeing you guys comment. I see that the comments are getting quiet. So take a second and let us know that you're still here. I see you here with the little eyeballs. I can see the number of viewers, but I want to, see your comments and stuff. So don't I know you guys are probably doing other things as well as listening to everything in the background here, but so much good stuff going on. So I want to make sure that you're getting it all. All right. We are moving right to the next company. I'm super excited to introduce Roger from Hoppier. Hello, Roger. How are you?
Hey, Liz, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us today. Hoppier is another, we actually didn't work with all the tools today at techsytalk Global, but here we are with another tool that we got to work with. Hopefully you guys got to check out our techsytalk digital credit cards. I'm going to let you tell people more about it, but it was really fun to work with you guys. And I think, mix it up for attendees and engagement. So I'll let you take it from here, but excited to have you here today.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Liz. I appreciate it. All right. Hey guys, I'm Roger Collins. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at Hoppier. And I'm really excited to be here today to talk about Hoppier. So Hoppier is a platform that makes it really easy to provide physical experiences at your virtual events. And when I say physical experiences, I mean, morning coffee, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, happy hour drinks, personalized gifts, rewards. What I really want to focus on today is the number one use case that people are using Hoppier for today. And that number one use case is providing food allowances to their attendees at their virtual events. Now, this should be an easy thing to do. It should be easy to provide lunches in it. And honestly, it's one of the most commonly used incentives to get people to register for our events or for our employees to attend. But it's not always easy to cover everybody in those events. So I just want to focus on a challenge here with this use case, and that challenge is coverage. So if we think about the traditional way of offering food delivery, a meal allowance to your attendees at a virtual event, you would think that you would go to a food delivery services platform and you would let them know that you had 100 attendees that you were expecting. And so you needed maybe $120 food vouchers for your attendees. And so your total investment is $2,000 and they give you 100 codes and then you would send out those 100 codes to your attendees. And I would bet you of the 100 attendees, probably 75% of your attendees are covered through the food delivery service voucher. Those attendees live in the city and they live close to a food delivery service zone. And I'm sure you've done your research and know that your attendees live in the US and you probably know what state they live in. But of those other 25% of your attendees, a lot of them probably live in rural locations. Like, what about your attendees in rural Wisconsin? Or maybe your attendees that live on Prince Edward Island where an Uber Eats doesn't reach to? Or what about your attendees in India or Japan or, other international places where your attendees might tune in from? How do you make sure that you have 100% coverage for those attendees? Let's say you were to give them that food delivery service voucher and they live in a rural location. What's their options here? They're either going to give the voucher away or they're going to not use the voucher at all. And so you either haven't met your intent, which is giving an attendee an allowance for a meal, or you've burned budget because you've spent $2,000 on vouchers and maybe only $1,400 would be used and the rest would be burned through attendees that couldn't use them. And so how do you achieve that coverage? How do you achieve 100% coverage with virtual events and so many different types of attendees from so many different types of countries where they're tuning in from? And so you use Hoppier. So next slide, please, Liz. Awesome. So Hoppier is a platform, like I said, that makes it easy to provide physical experiences at virtual events. The way that we do that is by helping you send out branded, time-sensitive virtual Visa cards to your attendees, where you can also, you can actually restrict their spending right down to an individual vendor, such as Uber Eats or Grubhub or DoorDash or heck, just choose all of them. We also have, we're a global solution. We're going to work anywhere that US dollars and Visa is accepted. And so we even have catering services on the platform that will serve EMEA, APAC, the UK, such as Deliveroo or Dianping or Grab Food. And so you're actually able to restrict their spending right down to an individual vendor, or you're able to restrict their spending across an entire category. And so when I talk about coverage, when I think about attendees that are living in rural locations, whether they're in your own country or they're across the ocean, by enabling the category of restaurants, which is a category that we have on our platform, and giving them this virtual Visa card, they're actually able to use this Visa card on literally any restaurant that is registered as a business, as a restaurant. And so they would take that card and they would add it to their digital wallet, such as Apple Pay or Google Pay or Samsung Pay, and they can physically walk to the restaurant and place their order in a brick and mortar store by tapping their phone. And so this really helps us bridge the gap for hybrid events and also virtual events, and making sure that you have that, that 100% coverage. And so Liz, I'll get that next slide, please. Awesome. One thing that I really want to hammer home here as well is the brandability of these cards. So you're really giving your attendees a branded experience. And why this is so important, if you're an organization that's using this internally, is you want to make sure that your employees know that you're giving them this card and you're giving them this really amazing branded experience, and they feel connected to your company. But furthermore, when you're thinking about external initiatives and external events, you want to make sure that all the work that you've done into branding your event and bringing that brand collateral to light, you want to make sure that you're able to use that in every facet of the experiences in your virtual events. And furthermore to the branding piece, I'm sure with these external events, you guys are going after sponsors and you're looking for sponsors to maybe sponsor a swag bag or maybe sponsor even a lunch. What if you could brand this card with their colors, and you can really just put this in your toolkit and show them an example of a card that would be branded with their colors and their logo, and a title that says, conference lunch day 1 sponsored by X company. So it's really, really powerful. The branding element is very powerful. Another thing I want to touch on here is actually setting that time frame, right? So many times with food delivery service vouchers, you give away a voucher and it may not be used during the day of your event. It may be used several months later or several weeks later. In this case, you're actually saying this Hoppier card or this virtual Visa card is available to spend between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Monday, October 18th. And the attendee has to use this allowance during your event. If they don't use it, they lose the budget, or their card is deactivated, and the budget comes back to you, so that you can put that budget maybe into prizes at the end of the event, or you can just roll that over into your next event. So we're a really great budget management tool for that as well. Once your event is over, we've got a nice transactions page that you can check out, where you can see all of the spending that all of your attendees have made. This is a pretty interesting page as for a marketer who's really looking at their audience to understand where they enjoy spending their money. You can see all of the transactions, where they spent it and for how much. And perhaps you can create a marketing strategy with these transactions to understand just different types of ways that you can hone in on your audience when you're marketing to them. Next slide, please, Liz. So I just want to show you quickly what the participants will see when they onboard. This is what the participant experience looks like. They see their virtual card, they have their card numbers, and you'll see actually below that card, there's a box there. You see it's actually 34 Canadian dollars. Now, every card is distributed in US dollars, but like I said, we're a global solution and we're global friendly. And so on that currency drop down, you can actually switch your currency to see whatever is relevant to your local currency. So let's say you have people from India and they want to know how much they have in the equivalent of 20 US dollars in Indian rupees. So they can go ahead and use this card accurately. They can do that. So that's a really powerful feature as well. Attendees can add their own their own credit card to the platform to spend over their balance if they wish to spend more than the allowance that you've given them. And then on the right-hand side, you can see all the allowable vendors that they can choose to spend their allowance on. It's a Visa card. It's got a budget on it, and they can spend however many transactions it takes to get through that budget, so they can buy their coffee at Starbucks in the morning, and then they can go ahead and buy lunch at their favorite restaurant or through Uber Eats in the afternoon. Next slide, please, Liz. And so I just wanted to say, if anybody's interested in booking a demo with us, we're happy to give you a $15 Hoppier card. You can do that through www.hoppier.com, or you can email me directly, and I'm happy to get you set up.
Well, you can't make it any easier. I think you're going to be flooded with people who want to try this out. It looks like you guys have, I know that it's a tool that's really interesting and useful, but from the comments we are seeing, this is so awesome. I love Hoppier. This is so good. Love this idea. Bring on the swag. Lots of comments coming in that are very, very positive, but we do have a few questions in only a few minutes. And this may be something I'm sure you've come across this, Roger. Someone is asking, has anyone else come across where they won't let you use gift cards to staff because it's taxable and it limits how much giveaways? Anything to share there, or maybe that's just a challenge we all have?
Liz, it's really tough to say, and I'd be lying if I said we didn't come across this now and again. Something that's really interesting about food benefits is they're considered to be de minimis benefits. And what Hoppier allows you to do is choose exactly where this allowance is to be spent. So when it really comes down to policy and how your company views taxable and non-taxable and de minimis benefits, it's ultimately just a call that the organization needs to make. But if you, technically, if we were all in the office and we were providing a food allowance to attendee or to all of our employees, or in the conference room to our, well, I guess this is only relevant to employees. So if we were in the office with employees and we were to offer a catered lunch, it would just be de minimis and it wouldn't be considered a taxable benefit. So it's totally up to your organization, but we do come across this quite often.
Okay, remind people how to book a demo. They want to do it right now.
Okay. All right. So hopier.com, get started in the top right corner. You can book a demo that way, or you can email me directly at roger@hopier.com.
Okay. How does the balance get reduced, or does it for exchange fees for global purchases?
Yeah, good question, Adam. So we're actually hooked up directly into the Forex exchange. So it's a real-time conversion rate from US dollars to whatever currency the attendee is flipping it to. The transaction still takes place in US dollars, but we're quite accurate on the conversion when we display it to the participant.
Got it. Someone is asking, is this live? The answer is yes, we are live right now taking your questions. Okay, we have more questions here. Goodness, lots of questions. Someone's asking if anyone gets FOMO with Hopier. You don't have to, because now you can book a demo and get one for yourself. Are there processing fees for using the service, or how does monetization work?
Yeah, good question. Good question. So it's up to you. We have two different ways that you can pay for Hopier. You can pay with a credit card, or you can pay with an ACH or a bank wire transfer. If you're paying with a bank wire transfer, then it's free. If you're paying with a credit card, there's a 3% payment processing fee. It's pretty standard. The difference between the two is on a credit card, it's a one business day lead time, and on an ACH or bank wire transfer, it takes 5 days. So in a lot of cases, we have event managers that come to us for an immediate need, and we end up getting started with a credit card. But for their second event and beyond, they'll work with finance to deposit a lump sum into their Hopier account so that they can manage the remainder of the month's events with an ACH transfer.
Okay, another question. I think I saw this come up somewhere else as well. Is there a minimum amount to purchase?
Actually, no. We have no minimums, so you can get started with as little as one card. We have a usage-based platform for under 25 cards a month, and then we have more of a premium commitment if you're committing to a higher number of cards. But either way, our platform does become usage-based at some point over 100 card commitment.
This is one of those things that's just like, it seems so simple. Why have we not been doing this for so long? We did use it for techsytalk, and it's just create the design, which is very, very simple, logo and some colors, upload your list, hit send, people claim it. And I love the idea that at the end, whatever is not used kind of comes back to you and can be reused, because we all know that that money is just sitting on gift cards like all around the world, lost somewhere. So thank you for that. We do have 1 minute left. I'm going to ask this question just because it's my husband who's asking. Any plans for crypto use? Is this in any way related?
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. It's interesting though. We are working through the credit card system. We are reliant on the banks, right? Banks and institutions, and crypto is very interesting. We'll see how that plays out, and I'll leave that one to the founders.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you, Roger, so much for sharing with us. Really excited for people to book. I had a lot of comments up, so I'm going to leave this slide for a few seconds so people can go book their demos and get their $15 Hopier cards. Love what you guys are doing. So thank you so much for sharing today.
Thank you so much, Liz. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone.
Sure. So I do hear from one of our upcoming presenters that my voice is cutting in and out. If that's the case, please let me know in the chat, in the comments, wherever you're watching. But we're going to keep it rolling. I'm going to try to keep it as fast as possible. And we are going to jump over to Clipper. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we used Clipper for techsytalk as we get to that point. But first, I'm going to introduce Humphrey. I want him to talk about his product, Clipper. Hi, Humphrey. How are you?
Hey, all right. Good, great.
Thank you for joining. I know you've been sitting watching all these other presentations, so I'm sure you're excited to jump right in. I'm going to let you do that, and then I'll come back up for Q&A.
Totally. All right, cool. All right, let's go to the first slide. So thank you so much, Liz, for spotlighting us here at your showcase. So at Clipper, our operating premise is that not all minutes of video are created equally, nor is every minute equally relevant to everyone. So We index every minute of video using machine learning. We make it searchable. We generate an automated table of contents. And so if only 5% of video matters to you, then we want you to find that as efficiently as possible. If there's another 5% that you didn't know you need to know, then we want to help you define that. If you get 10% utility from your recorded video, then we view that as mission accomplished. Since that's 10% more than normal, then we help you to avoid 90% of the video. Clipper is for event planners and for all companies. For event planners, we make it 365 and we increase your content ROI and we help you to grow your community in between events. For all companies, we help all employees find, personalize, and collaborate on the video moments that matter the most within everyday video, such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meets. Next slide. At Clipper, whenever we see recorded video, we view it as a lot of trapped potential. You spend a lot of time creating that content, so why not extend the shelf life of it and let it keep working for you? At Clipper, we unleash this trapped potential by making your video searchable, personalized, interactive, and actionable. Let's go to the next slide. So let's go through our first use case, the most popular one. We make all your recorded video searchable and on demand all 365 days of the year. In this example from techsytalk's 9/28/29 event, you can see the techsytalk Clipper team inside a Clipper.
Did we lose him? Let me know in the comments.
Okay, no, so
You're back. Good.
sorry, looks like there's a little glitch there. In this example from techsytalk's 9/28/29 event, you can see the techsytalk Clipper team inside a Clipper. If you type in monetization as an example in the search bar on the upper left, then voila, on the right, we share with you the exact 4 moments where monetization was discussed. Wasn't that easy? So here you should think about Clipper as lighting up the long tail for all your event's content. It doesn't have to stop when your event actually finishes. It can work for you all year round. Let's go to the next slide. Here's our second use case. Let your attendees personalize the video they want to re-engage with. Do you remember the fun Big Heads character section from Liz's last event? Well, if you didn't, now that you've heard about it, and if you only wanted to watch that section of the video, well, then Clipper lets you watch just that section. When you choose edit topics from within the Clipper video player, you can watch just those exact 7 minutes out of the 40, 50-minute session. By the way, let me walk you through the Clipper player in the middle. On the right side of the player, you'll see our automated table of contents. We call that topics and subtopics. This also lets you smart skip from one topic to the next topic for efficient skimming and skipping, in addition to targeted hunting through personalization. Underneath the play bar, you'll see our transcripts, where we support 31 languages. Half of them, interestingly enough, are variations of English. We also support the most popular European and Asian languages as well. Next slide. So what's our recommended call to action? Well, create your own free Clipper account at clipper.ai. The first 5 hours are always free. Join the techsytalk Clipper team, so be on the lookout for the invitation that's going to be coming from Liz. Once you create your own Clipper account, although I recommend using your work email, you can search for anything you need from this techsytalk showcase, as well as from Liz's last event. Then you can also create your own Clipper team and for your own company and invite all your coworkers and unleash all the trap video inside your company. If you want to prioritize Clipper integration within your preferred event platform, please tell us and your event platform, and we'll get right on it. If you'd like my team to walk you through everything, you can see all their faces here. Please email partnerships@clipper.ai. Last thing, for all techsytalk members, Clipper going forward will process all your all hands meetings for your company going forward for free, up to 5 hours per month and 50 hours of history. So that's a brand new promo. Hot off the presses, and just for everybody here who's learning about this today during the showcase. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This is another one of those things like, why have we not been doing this for so much longer than we have? One of the things I really found, and you guys really should take advantage of this first 5 hours are free, because once you do, you just have to have Clipper clip one of your videos, just see how it works. This is, as we're seeing, people are saying, brilliant technology. As Francis says, this is such a game changer for on-demand content. We are currently living in a world with just way too much content. We have, for example, even at techsytalk, we had 20 sessions. That was down from 50 from last year's techsytalk event. And within that, you can have 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes of content, and you talk about so many different things. So the ability to search for something like monetization, which we did not have a single, well, my mind's already failing me from like a week ago, but I don't think we had a single session on monetization. But when you look up monetization in Clipper, you find all these clips where that came up as a topic, and our attendees can just go and click on it and pull up all those little clips of content. Game changer. I don't want to talk too much, but as Humphrey said, you will be getting an invite if you are part of the techsytalk collaborative community. So go to techsytalk.com/member. It's free. If you registered for techsytalk Global, or you go right now and register for our community, you will get access to our Clipper account. That way you can see all of the content clipped from techsytalk Global, and you can see all of this showcase. We're going to be clipping it in real time. We're actually doing something cool with Clipper where we're streaming this to them as well, and they're clipping it as we are making it, which is amazing. Okay, let me ask some questions here. Shannon would like to know, can Clipper be integrated with other platforms?
Absolutely. So you are seeing from the slides, you're actually seeing Clipper inside of Clipper, but we also have an API that allows Clipper to be fully embedded in any platform. And so when we initially built Clipper, we built it to showcase what was possible, but we built it with powering other people's platform as the true potential of Clipper, because we don't want to assume that everyone has to come to our site. We want people to go where they already are going, right? So whether it's Cadence, whether it's Hubelo, whether it's Grip, whether it's Hopin, all these platforms, if you're using them, we want to be deeply integrated within it. And so our preference actually is, rather than work directly with Clipper, because if you have like a WordPress site or a pop-up site that you end up creating, where we have the tools to allow you to kind of do it directly on your own. But we also are happy to basically work with your preferred event platform and just make us a feature. And so, you already have so many things on your plate. We'd rather have fewer moving parts for you. And so the more that we can reduce the friction for you, the better for everyone.
Yeah, that is true. There's just, I know for myself, when the event is over, I want the event to be over. There's always all the wrap up stuff, but dealing with the content is one of those things that you're just like, I know we have so much great content. I just don't know what to do with it all. It makes it feel worth creating all that content when other people can access it and use it in a meaningful way. Cause we just know no one's going to go back and watch even 15-minute sessions over and over again. Lots of questions coming in. So let me try to get to one. Someone is asking, can this run within an AMS platform to search video content by word? Does it require tags to grab content? I know the answer, I think, is no. Or is it literally just listening for you and kind of pulling these tags for you?
Yeah, and so in this case, we can run inside any platform. And so for Clipper, what we do is we basically take the audio, we turn it into searchable text, and we actually also look at the content in the video and selectively enhance it. So when we generate our automated table of contents, we're taking into account what we're hearing and selectively what we're also seeing. And so that actually ends up allowing for Clipper to really kind of be a collaborative video document type, which no one ever knew existed or was actually necessary. But the past 18 months, with so much video that now exists, it used to be that single digit, fractional 1% video was getting recorded. Now we've got like up to 30% of everyday videos getting recorded. But the tools to actually efficiently locate things inside video haven't caught up. And so for Clipper, we're all about like making it as efficient as possible. And so this is kind of like where, in a way, normally video moments, when you record a video, 0 moments are identified. And if you think about it, what Clipper is doing right now is we're identifying 50% of the moments through the topics and the subtopics. And then we're providing you also with the tools to help us find the other 30 to 40% moments that end up being really interesting. And so right now we start with topics, but we've got a whole roadmap of all these other really valuable moments. And that's also part of the reason why we're providing these all hand meetings promotion, because we want everybody to experience Clipper, because once you experience it, new light bulbs will go off in your head around like what other things you want to find. And as you find more moments that are valuable to you, we'll start automating that and allow for it to be done in a more automated manner.
Now, this is a somewhat similar question, but I want to make sure we ask it. Someone's saying, sorry, we're blocking your face here for a second. Do we have to use meta tags for lack of a better description? A lot of the members are looking for content and don't remember the name of the webinar or the name of the session. So how does this work with
Yeah, there's no need for meta tags, because basically everything that's spoken is a tag for itself. So in that example, when I did a search for monetization, I didn't create that tag. We just found it in the transcript and it got bubbled up. So in a way, you could think of this as an automatic tag generator for you. And so you don't need to do the manual work. And so for us, it's the power of machine learning is that we can automate this so that we can reduce and eliminate those manual tasks that you normally would have done. And so that's kind of why we think about all the recorded video as just being trapped potential, because it's so limited in its utility. Typically the default is the session title, and that's not enough. There's a lot more value in there. And so and that's also part of the reason why when we did our free all hands promo, we processed 4 hours every month going forward and up to 50 hours of history, because there's at least 50 hours worth of all hands meetings over the past two years where there's some referential utility, and we want you to find that stuff. And so think about recorded video as like oil, and there's like a lot of energy and trap potential, and it's like let's tap it, let's unleash it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Naomi's asking, can we understand a little more about pricing and structure? How does it work for a planner to use this, or any organization?
Yeah, so the way that we price it is $35 to $50 per hour for the content that Clipper enriches. That's one part of the pricing. And then the other part is per user pricing, somewhere between 25 cents to $2 per unique user per year. So the reason for the pricing around indexing the content is that we also want to help. There's obviously costs associated with indexing the content, but we also want you to prioritize which content is useful. So rather than say, oh, I've got 1,000 hours, let's do all 1,000. It's actually probably more prudent to think through, hey, which things are more valuable that are worthy of getting indexed by Clipper, as opposed to just assuming it all. But sometimes if you don't know, then you should just go ahead and do it all, and we can help you find out what's more valuable or less valuable. And then the per user fee is actually just associated with accessing the content, because there's costs associated with viewing that video and accessing the video. And the other thing that I didn't even highlight, because in the showcase we're only allowed to highlight 2 features or 2 use cases. The third one is actually analytics, because anytime you get the video enriched, you also get data on who's looking at what, how they're reacting to it. And that actually turns into secondary leads. And so when we talk about how this monetization works, when people are engaging with the content, the things they watch and the things they don't watch ends up being extra insight around what they're actually thinking, which means for your exhibitor, that's actually a new lead. And that's how your content can actually work for you even after the event. And that's also where we're starting to get demand from customers to say, hey, can you integrate with HubSpot? Can you integrate with Salesforce? Because we actually want to automate that follow-up, because when it happens, it's just, it's opportunity. And so this is kind of like the unique thing about Clipper, is that you didn't know you needed this until you actually knew it was possible. And so for us, like, we really could appreciate your help in getting the word out, because it's a totally new capability. We and just, and so, yeah, it's an exciting time, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's a game changer. We do have a few questions coming in that we don't have time because we're out of time for this session, but I know your team is in the chat and can respond to people as well. So thank you so much for taking some time and chatting with us about Clipper. You're right. It's game changing. Once you try it, just do one video, just go in there now, upload one video. You'll be like, oh my gosh. And then you will think of all the thousands of hours of video that you've wasted sitting around.
Exactly.
All right, Humphrey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right, take care.
All right. All right, here we go. We're moving right along, chugging along on this track with just a few sessions to go. You do not want to go anywhere. I love that the comments are still coming in, so keep them coming in. Let me introduce Miguel from our next company in event. Miguel, how are you?
Doing well, appreciate it. And it's actually nice to go right after Humphrey because we had a good conversation not too long ago. So I saw the advantage of the Clipper.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm sure you loved it. So I'll hand it over to you. If you guys have questions as Miguel is talking, please put them in the chat. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can when your presentation is over, and we'll take it from there.
Perfect. If you want to throw on that video first, we'll start there.
Sure.
Appreciate it. So for an event, right, the differentiator, what makes us different? Like you guys know, there's so many platforms, and I'm really thrilled. Thank you, Liz, for having us join the conversation today. I'm learning just as much as everyone else is, so it's really been incredible. In event, we have been around for years, right? But essentially, we started in the live event space. So when it came to the virtual aspect of things, everyone jumping onto Zoom and Microsoft Teams, we were already there with that virtual lobby, the virtual platform. And so now when we're doubling back and everyone's discussing the hybrid aspect of things, which Liz could actually speak to because she kindly joined our 360 event about 2.5 weeks ago, it's something that we're ready for. We're ready in play for and in position for. So for an event, you could throw it onto the next slide, Liz. So for an event, there's 3 things that I think kind of make us different, right? Some of it you might heard, some of you might not. One is the white labeling, the customization of the entire platform. So what we found is coming into the pandemic, everyone jumped onto virtual platforms, one-off events, one-off webinars, not really sure what to do, just trying to create content, trying to create motion. And now, a year afterwards, people are asking the right questions. People are understanding what solutions they need. Now you're looking for platforms to integrate with your stack, right? You're using Microsoft Office, you're using a certain CRM, using a certain payment processor. Now you guys have a certain platform that you guys are using with your companies, with your clients in order to do the 10-person webinar, the onboarding educational programs internally, the conference, the 3-day summit, whatever it might be. You could throw it onto the next slide, Liz. The key place that we see ourselves is in the multiple events. So the one-off event that is its own beast, of course, you're going to find platforms that are well positioned for that. But where we find an event to be the most successful for our clients and partners are in the multiple events. So looking at a 12, a 24, a 36-month scope of your events, whether it's the internal onboarding educational programs that you want that on-demand content to go back to that event space and have new people, new employees join the conversation, whether it is the sales conference. So for instance, us internally in event, we are a nice use case for this kind of thing because every single conversation, every meeting internally that we have is off the platform, whether it's 10 people, whether it's the entire company globally. So we find ourselves well positioned in the multiple event space, being able to build every event completely in itself, right? Every event stands alone. Every event could be customized front to back from the domain throughout the entire event. An event does not have to be seen anywhere. So as you see some of the companies that we've worked with towards the bottom, a lot of these companies have trusted us with their brand, which has been incredible. If you want to jump to the next slide. So like I mentioned, the white labeling experience is large for us, right? And as Liz can attest to, the hybrid aspect is big for us as well. So what we found in the event we held in New York, for instance, seems to be a 50 to 100 person in-person space makes it a lot more conversational, not clicky. People are having a lot better of an opportunity to ingest one another, for lack of a better term. And then online, having that virtual aspect, but bringing it into the live space and being able to network with our mobile application as well, whether it's on the video board while Liz was having a conversation, we had all the questions and the Q&A and the comments streaming live, or whether it's with an attendee in person, video chatting off their phone, with someone virtually anywhere in the world. So what we find is, yes, there's a fear of the COVID, the pandemic, other aspects like that. But I genuinely think, I think we could all attest to, if there's a commuting situation, if it's going to be raining, if it's going to be snowing, I promise you, a lot of your attendees, if they get a link, might be more tuned to do that link approach. So for us, the other aspect, of course, is like everyone's mentioned, but I'm going to say it one more time, the all-in-one approach. So being able to do your event from the website landing page, through your registration process, through your email campaigns, having your sponsorships all on one place, on one platform, getting all that reporting and analytics together. You could throw it to the next slide, Liz. All right, so use cases. As I mentioned, the space that we find ourselves the best position is multiple events. So some of the spaces that we see a lot of success recently is pharma, is education, is associations, networking associations, agencies, government, and of course, technology. So those seem to be the position, well positioned for us moving forward into this 2022 landscape, where I think people are asking the correct questions, right? So in event, like I mentioned, we start in that live event space. And now that that's becoming a large play with the interact screens, with the QR data collection, with all that live event support, even from the hospitality, the flights, the shuttles, the hotels, being able to monitor all of that entire process on one platform for the live and the virtual aspect of the platform is a big space for us. So what we see ourselves kind of moving forward right now is companies using us for a year to 2 years, kind of looking at a longer approach, because the way we price ourselves, which I'm sure everyone's interested, is per registration. We don't have a per event pricing. There's no approach in that fashion. So the more registrations purchased up front, as you can imagine, a better price break. So that's why we like to let people really utilize the 12 to 24 to 36 month approach when it comes to their event space. And I think as some people mentioned prior to me, we're finding success internally a lot more than I think we did last year. I think people jumped onto Zoom and Microsoft Teams for the simplicity of it last year, especially for the internal conversations. And now the internal education, the onboarding programs, the internal webinars, the sales meetings, the procurement meetings, the marketing meetings, it's all being done in one place. And having the ability now to have the reporting on your attendees is a big piece of what we're doing at InEvent as well. So understanding that Miguel Guerrero was on the platform and what was my engagement? I entered XYZ session. I attended that session for a certain amount of time. I answered this question. I clicked this polling aspect. So being able to understand your user experience per attendee is a big piece of what we're doing too as well. So of course that helps internally, and of course that can help externally as well. I'm not sure if I have another slide here, Liz. There we go. So how we are different, right? As we mentioned. So for the long haul, that plays into the multiple events, as I mentioned, really looking at a larger scope, not the one-off conference, not the one-off summit, and the marketplace. So like all the platforms mentioned prior to me, and everyone will mention after me, we built out our marketplace. It's called the event market. So the goal for us is prospective clients, current clients, you're going to come to one ecosystem. You're going to understand, all right, InEvent's the platform I want to utilize for my event, for my 12, my 24-month scope. What agencies, what partnerships am I going to utilize for, as everyone mentioned prior, right? The AV, the live support, the building out of the platform, things of that nature. So that's a big piece of what we've created, which is called the event market. So I welcome everyone to go to inevent.com and check that out and see what that looks like for our partnership programs and our affiliates. 24/7 support. Yes, you actually have a human being, and I know Julio mentioned it earlier, but you actually have a human being responding to you, not 1 minute, but we're 2 minutes, so I'll take it. 2 minutes internationally, you get a human response on our chat feature. So that is a 24/7 aspect of the platform. And as everyone knows, there are functionalities and questions and issues, like Liz mentioned, on a Saturday at 3 a.m., and we're there to support those kinds of issues. The other aspect as well is when you onboard, you end up becoming a client of ours, we provide support calls in the beginning, a certain amount of support calls, so you guys are able to train your staff, your client, yourself on certain aspects of the back end and really walking through the platform to get familiar with it. And then, as everyone knows, video. Video is everything moving forward. We find it to be the largest aspect of the event space moving forward, and something that I welcome everyone to go to our on-demand content for our 360 event that happened about 2 weeks ago and see how we played video into that event as much as humanly possible. So yes, we have the RTMP capabilities where you could bring the StreamYards, the DACast, the Vimeo, the vMix. You can play those in here, but We also have our own proprietary streaming. We also have our own virtual booth that we're providing ourselves that we'll be rolling out very, very soon. So I hope you guys all take advantage of time and taking a look at that as well. And something I wanted to mention is tomorrow we actually have an event, which we all discuss in this event space, is networking. So we're actually rolling out a brand new feature, networking roulette, on our platform tomorrow. So I welcome everyone to join that as well. Liz, if you could switch, perfect. All right, so embracing hybrid. So please jump in the chats. I'm curious everyone's thoughts and opinions on this. I had an incredible experience at our event about 2 weeks ago in New York City. And again, what I found was the people that attend, you could be more selective now. That could be more of a VIP approach or selective guests. So instead of having 250 people in a ballroom, 50 people in an intimate setting with the video walls going on, we found it to be really successful, and a lot more connections happened as opposed to throwing business cards at each other and things of that nature. And I'm not sure where I stand, Liz. There she is.
I'm here. Don't worry. I won't leave you hanging. We love it. I'm seeing lots of comments. Let's see here. Tess is saying, I love an event. Plus, you guys are in the ATL. Oh, I did not.
We are, Tess. I appreciate that.
Did not even know. Shannon says, love the marketing functionality. I saw a few other comments about people loving it. Francis says, love the per registration, great approach, and how customizable the platform is. One thing that really struck me, I think, that I wanted to mention is the pricing strategy and how that works for an independent planner, because as one myself, and I know there are a lot of us in our community, you're constantly trying to figure out like, okay, how can we use this for our clients and how many of our clients can we use this for? And it becomes really challenging when the pricing is, either a year license is very difficult, because how do we know how many of our clients want to use an event as compared to something else? Because we sure all agree that not all of our clients are going to use the same event
Absolutely
platform. But the pricing is very straightforward. So it's just by per person that enters any event, and then it's unlimited events. Is it unlimited days for these events? How does that work?
Great question. So yes, there's no hidden fees. It's just per registration. And the nice aspect, like you mentioned, is if I have 1,000 registrations that I purchase, I have 12 months to burn those 1,000 registrations however I see fit. If I want to build out 100 events from scratch for 10 people each, I can do that. And there's no cap in sponsorships or the amount of streaming or anything like that. So it's simply per registration.
This is awesome. How do we learn more about this event that you guys are doing tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely. So I know I have a bunch of team members on the chat here. So if someone could share the free registration link, but I definitely recommend everyone checking it out, because as you know, Liz, besides me spewing about the platform, checking it out and actually seeing the workflow is always the best way to do it. So it's a new feature release tomorrow.
Okay, awesome. So we will, if I can see that in the chat, we'll put it up. If not, we'll make sure that gets out there for everyone to see.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. If one person attends 3 of my events, is that one registration? Is it 3? I knew we were going to have this question for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say classic question. Thank you for the question. So that is the one thing. One registration, you register for that event, you're in that event. A new event, new registration. So that's kind of the way that works.
Registration, not per person.
Correct. The nice aspect too is the on-demand content, like we all love and know now, is if I am registered for that event, I can jump back into that event 12 months down the road. I can still access the content. I could still network. Even as the admin of that event, you could change it, you can manipulate it. So quote unquote, the event's over, but it's not over.
Those 365 communities becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, one more question. We only have a minute left. Can an event host virtual poster sessions with live Q&A? This is something I know a lot of organizations are looking at.
When you mean poster sessions, what's that mean, Liz? Explain that for me.
So I guess there's different ways of doing it, but the typical thing I think of is like a medical conference where they have like presentations related to research, and you're really trying to get deeper in on a topic. But Mia, please feel free to add any detail here. But in the meantime.
Yeah, no. So I guess the best way I can answer that off the top is you have the ability to customize every single session individually. So you can make specific sessions for that. And you could also simplify the platform. So you don't have to utilize all the tools on certain events. You could build out an event like a lot of people were using, 2 years ago, with simply just a link and it's Vimeo streaming. You could build out the platform in a very straightforward way in that fashion, if that's something that makes sense.
She says yes. So
All
we must
right,
have gotten that
there we go.
pretty accurate. Yeah, so medical conferences would be the one example I think of. All right, perfect. We love what you guys are doing, especially in the hybrid space and educating planners too. I love that a lot of the platforms are doing this education for planners. So we will make sure people get the link for tomorrow. And thank you for taking some time to join us today.
Thank you so much, Liz. I really appreciate it.
All right, we are chugging along here. All right, we are moving to our next speaker. I'd like to introduce Siva from Event Titans. Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good, Liz. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for you to share your presentation with everyone. But a little shout out to you because it is what time where you are right now?
It's pretty late, 1:30.
1:30 in the
1:30
morning. So you've
a.m.
been watching this entire time, really committed to showing you guys the platform. So we're going to let you do your thing. That way you can get back to sleep. But we want to learn more about Event Titans first. Attendees, as you're watching, please put your questions in the comments. We'll get to them. But I'm going to hand it over to you, Siva.
Hey everyone, this is Shiva, founder of Event Titans, and the idea behind Event Titans was from 2017. We are in-person events, like how we can automate the complete in-person events from registrations to check-in, badge printing, and everything. So in 2020, we evolved into the virtual platform, and right now we are a hybrid event. And I would be walking you through the platform like a quick video, talking through it and pausing it in few places and talking more about the functionality as we go. Next, please. So yeah, to start with, we all start with a registration uh, website, which can be completely customizable as per your brand. And when it comes to we also do have sponsor. You can sell your sponsors and also your booths. If you click on the booths, you will be able to see which booths are available, which booths are not available. And when it comes to the checkout experience, if you can see this, like you have a lot of options in terms of the user paying the amount and whatnot. If you can pause here for a second, like as you can see, we are the first, first event management platform in the world, like who integrated the crypto payments end to end. Like the users can, we had an event with which got 30+% of registrations through crypto that we did last year. And so, yeah, you can move on, please. No, actually, the video. I'm sorry. I know it's a little bit tricky, Liz. We get there. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see here, how we separate ourselves is like every user will have their own onboarding registration page, and also they have their in-person ticketing as well, and they have like self-cancellation page where it would be useful when you're monetizing your event tickets, and also it automatically calculates the payment. I don't know. We cannot pause it, but we have a lot of customization features. And this is the speaker showcase. You can build your speaker profile on our website, like what are all the events you did and what are all the websites. When it comes to the virtual walkthrough, as you can see here, this is the lobby. Sorry, this is the check-in section, and you will be landing in the lobby. You have all the clickable elements right there. Actually, there is a green bulb, and also to the left is the hamburger menu. You can customize the look and feel of this. This is not it. So you can, when you move on to the agendas, you have a digital display for live events. And as you can scroll down, you see the on-demand, the green button over there. It's for on-demand videos. If you have live, like actually Liz was on one of our session last week, and if you click join us, you would be able to stream either RTMP or YouTube, or it might be anything. And also at the end of each session, the users will be asked to rate the speaker, to rate the sessions, so you would be able to get more stats as well. I'll talk about the statistics. So the exhibitors, like this is the virtual exhibition booth. You can have, as we are you can and also this one has nearly 13 plus elements, like for interaction. You can chat, video chat, like request for a video chat. with the organizer. You can drop your business cards, and this is a digital business card. This is helpful with our app if you are in person and virtual. Both can do it. You can offer, you can have offers, and for the live, the event organizers can see the booth activity and they can chat. Whoever is manning the booth, you can go move on to the next session. And also, we are a global platform. You have time zone. You can gamify it with rewards, and also everything is customizable from the backend. I know I'm going a little bit fast because the video is taking me so fast. So the networking section, as you can see here, again, like you have our own inbuilt video, one-on-one video. We are coming up with the speed networking, and also you have AI matchmaking so that you know as who is doing. And this is a cool feature, like it's like a rewards. We did this, and everybody were like, wow. So from all the registrations who are live that time, so we picked like 3 winners every hour. So we have like 10 plus different like 10 plus different types of winner selection criteria that you can choose, and it will come automatically. And this is the backend. As you're seeing, it is very robust. It has so many modules. You don't have to be confused. Our team can handle this for you because we are your team, like technical team, definitely. And email marketing inbuilt. It has a lot of filters. It helps you to email in seconds during the event as well. And as we are talking about the biz cards, we have the complete digital business cards sending for live events and also virtual events. And it has a bunch of customizations. I'm just showing you as a glimpse, but the analytics is very important. As you can see, every click your user is doing, they have a point associated with it. And also like who visited the booth, how many they did, how many times they did, what are all the interactions they happened in the booth. Everything you will be able to know using the reports, and it's easily exportable, and also you can filter them and whatnot. So like this is the back end and front end of the application. And we are also releasing a free version of the 2D side of the app. You looked at the 3D version of it, but we are coming up with a free 2D for you. You can use the backend, and it will be free front end. Like where you can, it's a 2D, two-dimensional, is what I meant to say. The regular website. So it would be launching next month. So keep tune on to that. And so every aspect, as you're talking about for a live event, okay, right, starting from the registrations to customization of badges, printing the badges, mobile app for networking, and also like automatic registrations and whatnot. So like you have a bunch of features in this, including surveys and trivia. So if you can go next, please. So here are the different ways, like automatic onboarding, like as we are talking about, it helps in major conferences. It helped one of our customers save 50% of their organization time, or event organization time. And you see all this, but gamification is our top one. If you can go next, please. We have 100 plus features for you to go. Can you click? Yes. So like photo booth, falling balloons, pop balloons, sliding puzzles, snake, tic-tac-toe, pong, guessing game, word search. You can customize the games that you want to in the platform itself, and you can give points associated with it, like which gives better ROI for your sponsorships. Not just the engagement side, like a meaningful engagement, but fun engagement also be included in it. Next, please. So when it comes to the pricing, it's $6,000 onwards, and for nonprofits, it's 50% off completely. And for affiliates, like we give 20% of the commission. It's wide open on our website, and we partner with event agencies a lot, because most of our product, if you see, we built for event agencies. With one account, you can access your 10 different customers and 10 different events at once. You can manage it. So next, please. So here are the different features, and if you can go to the last slide. Questions, and boom, last slide. Next slide. Awesome.
There we go. Perfect. Your contact information. This is what everyone needs. Sorry for rushing through that video. I guess you're putting my PowerPoint skills to the test.
Yeah,
I
no
kept trying to
problem.
pause it and just starting over again.
No, I was like running my mouth. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But it was really helpful. I mean, one of the things that was very clear from what you shared is that it's a very robust tool. And you mentioned briefly, but I want you to dig in. And in the meantime, if you're watching and you have questions, put them in the comments of wherever you're watching, and we'll try to grab them. You mentioned about the support. You said our team, there's a lot of buttons. Our team can help you with that. What kind of support do you offer to
End to end? In
planners?
fact, for one of our customers, they don't even email their attendees. Our team take their emails, we design them, we put them in, and we email them. That is how much of work we how much of support we give. So it's like we are the technical team of ours. You don't even have to we work with a lot of galas. We did like more than 100 galas last year, and we developed right from $2,000 till $20,000. And this year we are doing an event of $100,000 plus. It's like like different technical requirements. We work with our team. Like we are the extension of their team completely. So we would support 100% of their of their events.
Perfect. And I may have missed this because I was in PowerPoint land. Tell us about in-person, virtual versus hybrid, and kind of the best use of Event Titans within those three categories.
Sure, definitely. So our event, our platform is like you can go live in less than 30 minutes of putting all the information in. So whether it is in person or the virtual, everything is built up right there. So like whatever you can think of, right, from registrations is you can upsell like fast passes, and also you can upsell your food items, and it's very robust, and also like it has crypto payments integrated into it, and we don't keep any money. Like it's completely we will use the event organizers account, like the Stripe account, so the money comes to the organizer. So it helps a lot of them. And also like when it comes to the badging, you can you can print the badges, and also like you do have options of like during the in time you can have the wall, like the social wall, or the digital dashboards. You don't have to even like it's like all are included on the website, so you can use it for either virtual engagement or in-person engagement. And we know as who checked in virtually, who checked in person, and as who which like how much of engagement happened in both the places. And on the day of the event, as you can email that person who didn't come up. You don't have to email the everybody who came to the event. You can say, hey, this 50 people didn't attend, let me just go ahead and email them right away. That kind
Yeah.
of capabilities as well. Yep.
Perfect.
Virtual, they can completely customize the 3D aspects, not that what you have seen. For a few educational institutions, we came up with universities and few galas with the tables and all. We can do a lot of customizations.
Awesome. Okay. Tess, she's bringing up the M word everyone wants to know about. Do you consider Event Titans a metaverse? And if so, why?
What do you mean by metaverse? I'm sorry, my English is not that good. So what do you mean
That's
by
okay.
that?
Tess, clarify in the chat, but I know a lot of people are talking about this. It's a new concept. I wouldn't say we can get back to you on that one, but that's a much bigger question. So I'll leave it. But Tess, if you want to clarify in the chat for everyone, that would be good. I'll put that up there. I think it's really around this like 3D environment where you're kind of moving through. It's very complex.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Okay, you're talking about 3D room. You're looking at different places, and you clicking on it, you will see a video playing and all. Yes, we can do that test. We can do that. Yeah, and
Perfect.
also, yeah. Okay.
There's like a whole thing. Everyone's talking about metaverse now. I don't know. I know it was a topic at techsytalk Global as well. So
And also all our events are 365 days live. It was actually few events we have it from past 2 years. They are live. Like we didn't take them down. So few of our premium customers, they are still going with us, and they're 2 years events. They're still on demand. They're still going on. So We didn't take
Yeah,
them
yeah,
down.
I think
So,
we're going to see
yeah.
a lot more of that, and that's where this plays into consideration for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the middle of the night. I hope you get some rest, but thank you for
Thank you.
showing us about Event Titans. The contact information is here on the screen, so please reach out and learn more, and we will talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks for having us. Take care. Have a
Of
good day.
course, thank you. Okay, so we are moving right along. I am very excited to introduce our next company, Hub. I have Phil here in the background. Let me bring him on stage. Let's click in here. Here we go. Hi, Phil. How are you?
Liz, hello. It's good to meet you. It's great to be here.
Likewise, very excited to have you here. Hub is a platform I've known for many, many years. Love what you guys are doing, constantly evolving and growing, which is super exciting. So I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce Hub for the next 8 minutes or so, and then we'll swing back for some Q&A.
Good. No, I appreciate that. And Liz, maybe I should just let you give the presentation. It sounds like you might do a better job of pitching this than me. But, as I go through this, I hope that I can really share two themes that I'd like this audience to come away with. The first one is that whether your event is virtual, in person, or a combination of either, which is our new word, I shouldn't say our old word that's getting used a ton, hybrid, Hub is an ideal solution. And the second theme is that we can be as self-sufficient as you want it to be. And so as I go through the slide deck, I'm going to share some things, but I want you to come away with those two themes afterwards. So, and if you would advance it for me, Liz, thanks. So this is a really interesting slide, and there's a lot of information here, but I think it helps us to visualize really how and why Hub is such a great virtual platform, regardless of your event requirement. So if you're in person, there's specific needs and there's specific requirements for in-person events. Some of those things might be the use of a mobile app, which we include with every virtual platform, and which we include use of Hub every time. There's maybe booth selection. There are things like digital signage. Those are things that are available and accessible through the Hub platform. Then on the virtual side, we obviously understand a lot of those things, but a couple I'll call out here that are pretty interesting that are worth mentioning are, first of all, you have to have all of the engagement capabilities. So there's got to be the chat, there's got to be evaluations, there's got to be gamification, there's got to be networking, and there's got to be in meetings and an opportunity for your attendees to connect with each other and connect with exhibitors. Those are things that have to be supported in a virtual environment, and as well as the branding. And we'll go through the branding here a little bit, but you got to make sure that your event is a continuation of whatever branding experience you want to create and provide your attendees. Your virtual platform has to support that. 3D, 2D, whatever it might be. And we'll talk about some of those things a little bit further here in another slide. But what pulls those two together is with the hybrid components. And these are requirements regardless of whether it's an in-person or virtual event. Things like staffing management, things like registration, things like speaker management. And people have known Hub for many years to know that we are a great content management system. We manage and we own that workflow as well as anybody. But in addition to that, we can provide a lot of capabilities around managing your meetings and managing your staffing and things that can really create value to your events. When you go to events and you have the opportunity to meet with consultants, and really manage that at the level and capability you want to based on attendee types and other things, that drives tremendous value to your event. And that's those are some things that Hub does. Now, I mentioned one of the things I want to make sure we're really clear on is the ability for you to be able to manage these yourself and be completely self-sufficient. So we do that and allow you to do that in a very easy to use, intuitive back-end capability of our system that allows you to own as much of this setup and configuration management as you want to. Go ahead and advance that, Liz. And one other idea I want to make sure it comes across here is that we're talking to clients right now who know they have an event. They think it's going to be hybrid, but they're not sure yet. So maybe next spring is like, listen, we want to go hybrid, but we're not sure. What is the safest route for you to take? And I love the concept of event insurance. And Hub really provides that level of event insurance. So regardless of what your ultimate experience has got to be, whether it's going to be a pure virtual or it's got to be hybrid, or maybe it's going to be, hey, we want to go purely in person, Hub is a solution that can support you regardless of that type. Okay, so it's that all-in-one kind of concept theme. And if we think about Hub, we can really think of Hub in these 6 pillars. First one being registration. That's your first touch point. How easy is it for people to come in and register for the event? How well can you capture their attendee types and other valuable information about that attendee that's going to really drive that overall experience within the event itself? Becomes really, really critical. So you want to be able to control access to your content. You want to be able to control maybe who gets access to meetings or who can book meetings with whom or what types of meetings or how many meetings. That's valuable information that's acquired through registration that Hub does really well to make sure that you can create the right event experience you want to. Sponsor and exhibitors, obviously we have to drive value to your sponsors. And so we do that through providing great analytics into all interactions within a virtual booth. And that information can be made available through an exhibitor resource center. So the exhibitors have access to that data. They know who is wanting information, who's requesting information. They know how many people have come to their booth and watched their video or engaged in chat or whatever other types of engagement opportunities there might be, downloaded resources, whatever it might be. Staffing and meetings management, the digital experience, mobile app. As I mentioned early on, we do provide a mobile app that's part of our platform. So whenever you use Hub as your event management system, we do provide a mobile app. And the beauty of our mobile app is that it combines the experiences together. So we've been at events where there's been a mobile app for your in-person attendees, and there's been a mobile app for your virtual attendees. Doesn't really create a very contiguous experience. So with Hub, we eliminate that potential issue and problem. So go ahead and advance if you don't mind, Liz. So first of all, you need to make sure that you have very distinct and specific branding opportunities. So whether you want something completely customized, which you're seeing a screenshot here of a very tailored event experience, we can do that. And so again, your event becomes an extension to your brand. And we want to make sure you understand that Hub has the ability to support a 2D, 3D customized experience. And really whatever you can come up with a design, Hub can support. Next slide, please. But maybe even more importantly is we give you the ability, again, to manage this on your own. So we have built-in templates at Hub that allow you to select your particular theme and experience, and then apply your own color schemes, your own typography to that template. And so again, if we want to provide something that's simple, that's cost-effective, that can be replicated across many events over extended period of time, Hub gives you that ability to manage all your events simply, cost-effectively, using the template and making sure you can still brand this thing appropriately and using the right color schemes and typography and so forth. Next one, please. And the last slide I'll touch on here is just, I think the flexibility around the content and the video capability. Now, you saw in the very first slide that Hub is now a part of Notified. We were acquired by Intrado in last August, just over 2 months ago. And bringing the two companies together, where Intrado has this amazing webcasting capability that now is integrated into the Hub platform. We have built-in webcasting and live streaming capability. But even in addition to that, with all the amazingness that comes with Intrado's now Notified, as we rebranded the company, capability, we have the ability to support multiple different really video solutions. And so if your video needs are purely on demand and they're pre-recorded sessions, or you want to create some semi-live experiences where you're showing pre-recorded, we want to have live Q&A afterwards. We have the ability to support those things and show those and support those in embedded experience within the Hub platform. So you don't want people having to leave the platform. You want them to be able to experience those things in the platform, and those are things that Hub is able to do. So we're very, very flexible around the types of video experiences that you can really have within the Hub platform. So go ahead, advanced, if you don't mind, Liz. And that kind of wraps up my brief slide presentation. Again, I want to make sure you kind of got the theme of what Hub can do for you is really be an all-in-one solution, regardless of your event requirement needs, virtual, in-person, or a hybrid combination of the two, and that we really can provide you a self-sufficient solution if you want to be really self-sufficient in managing and utilizing the Hub platform on your own. So Liz, I'm happy to take any questions that might come up.
Perfect. Thank you. I love how you streamlined this and gave people two major things to think about, because there's a lot of information we're hearing today. And I want to go back one slide just on my own. Very interested in this. And I see Frances as someone who's worked in webcasting for a long time. This is what she was talking about, is very exciting. I'm a StreamYard user primarily because it's very easy to use, but I love seeing that platforms are integrating more and more their own like native web streaming platforms with the abilities to do lower thirds and overlays and all of these things that you're talking about. That TV style production is something that event planners are pretty much obsessed with these days.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got to figure out how to do it. So thank you for making this easier for us. I can't wait to check it out. I've been a huge fan of Hub for a long time, but haven't tried your webcasting yet. So
we used to kind of position Hub as, hey, we're agnostic and it doesn't matter who you have, and we could work with whomever, which was a fun story to tell, but it was also limiting in our story. Yeah. And it hurt us in a number of situations, where now we're still have the ability to be agnostic, but we have this built-in capability that we didn't have before that is really pretty exciting. And for me, coming from Hub and now knowing what we can offer through this built-in kind of webcasting capability, I get super excited because it's really impressive. And it also can really allow you to be self-sufficient in its usage as well, too.
Absolutely. So one person is asking, self-service versus full service. You talked a lot about kind of being able to do this on your own. What kind of support does Hub offer to planners?
Yeah, good question. I appreciate that. So I think one way we can do that is, first of all, we have a really kind of a cool process when we onboard our clients. We make sure we understand what the experience is, what your usage is, and that we know if you want to really to be self-sufficient in the product and in usage of the system. We have a training and onboarding strategy and process to make sure that our clients are up to speed in the usage of the system and how to set it up and configure it. So we go through a rigorous training with all of our clients to make sure that they're up to speed to the level that they want to be. We support them through those things. We have online chat support that we provide during the event itself. But we really make sure and can provide the training that our clients need to ensure that they know how to use the system themselves. And the full back-end capability, if I jump in the back-end and say, okay, here's our sophisticated back-end, our clients have access to that. And they have the ability to go into each session and say, I want this session to turn on at this time. I want my chat to be moderated. I want to utilize this streaming solution coming from this source, whatever it might be. And you can get really detailed. And I want only these attendee types to get access to this session. And I want the video to be turned on at this time. So you have that level of detail that you can create within your event experience.
Yeah, we know planners like to make things complicated or, very customized, so it's nice to have that functionality that each session can really be different, because we're really customizing something and creating something that is custom for our attendees, and different session types is very important. Different attendee groups, super important. I do see the question. Can you talk a little bit about pricing? Is it based on number of events, number of people, how much customization is required? Like, do we have to keep upgrading? General structure, since I know this changes and depends on a lot of things, but what can you share from pricing?
All right. Well, I love this. I love that person's name, the cool struggler. So let me see if I can help you with that. Our licensing is really based on usage. So our usage and variable usage items are typically registrants, sessions, and a number of exhibitors. And so we can scale up and down based on those three components. So those things will determine it. Now we have lots of different add-ons and things we can add to it. If you want different meeting types, if you want to like executive meetings and you want expert meetings, or if you want things like whatever, customizations, those are things that we can do and add to it. But our licensing is pretty simple and straightforward. It's based on number of registrants, number of sessions, and number of exhibitors.
Okay, perfect. One last question. We only have a few seconds left. Do you have the ability to integrate with CRM or other third-party systems? I know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that because, Hub has always kind of lived in this ecosystem where we've had to integrate with maybe registration solutions. We've had to integrate with mobile apps. We've had to integrate with maybe on-site systems. Hub has always been an amazing source of truth. And so when you go through registration experience, that information flows into Hub. We've then become that source of truth. And we do that because we have a great API and an ability to work with third-party applications. Now, we have a great mobile app that we provide, but if you have a mobile app that you have to use, no problem. If you have a registration right already and you got to use that registration solution, no problem. We can integrate with that registration application. So we've lived in this ecosystem where we've had to work with third parties, and we do so, but we also try and make it as simple as possible for you to use a Hub as much as possible.
Perfect. And I do, before we want to go, I want to highlight this event that you guys have coming up October 26th at 11 o'clock PT time. We made this little bit.ly, so go to bit.ly/hub event to register for how to be a content hero. Like many of the organizations we've talked today, you guys are doing so much education for the events industry. And if there are any planners on here who are feeling lost, there are so many resources out there to help you figure this out and really figure out how to do better for your clients. And so we'll share this event on social as well, but so that everyone can see and join here as well.
Well, thank you, Liz. And Liz, listen, you've got you got an amazing event here. So thank you for letting us be a part of it, and you're doing a great job here. So we are just grateful to be a part of this and to support this. So thank you.
Thank you. So excited to have a great company showcasing what they do so more planners can work with the best and wade through, what we all know is a crazy world of not so great options sometimes. So thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we are actually at our last company. Is that possible? I'm really, really excited for this next session. It's a little bit outside the box because it's not just a virtual platform, and it's perfect timing because we're about to talk to Naomi from Storycraft Lab. They do actually some work with Hub, but they also do lots of other cool things. So let me just bring her up. Hello, hello. How are you?
Hey, hi Liz. How are you doing? It's lovely to be here today.
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. Excited for you to tell everyone a little bit more about the work that you guys are doing and some new things that you're launching.
Yes.
So I will let you do that and I'll be back.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Liz, for the intro. That's wonderful. So hi, everybody. It's Naomi Claire Krellin. I'm CEO of Storycraft Lab, and I'm here to talk to you today about the experience profiles. These are a set of audience archetypes that have been developed as a tool for event planners and creators to introduce personalization into their experiences and build engagement that is really tailored to your audiences and their segmentation. So this is a product that we started designing in April 2020, and we were lovingly incubated at Hub as we developed this and started testing it with our clients. And we're now launching it more publicly as something that is available for planners to use. So Liz, if we could look to the next slide. And the experience profiles really help to address a couple of thorny issues that have been confounding planners a bit right now. Number one, the need for personalization. So you can see on the left there the statistic that 73% of consumers said meeting their rising expectations for a personalized experience is something that most brands struggled with. So this is something that is top of mind for attendees and for planners. Like how do we deliver personalization on these really kind of swift event development and delivery tracks that we're on? And then on the right, the other nut that we're trying to crack is attrition, right? The attrition that we see between registration and event attendance, which was estimated generally as being around about 50 to 54% in 2021. And you can see that stat on the right there. When we use the experience profiles for the Untethered Design-a-thon, a whopping 81% of attendees that registered and took the quiz turned up at the event. So we're really excited to see that piece of data. So next slide, Liz. Now we've used the experience profiles to build engagement pre-event, right, from the ground up and throughout the entire experience journey. So starting way before registration even. And we use a set of academic frameworks for behavioral preferences to build around how people interact socially, how they interpret content and messaging, how they learn and retain information, how they direct and lead their teams. Next slide, please, Liz. So to show you how this works, we're going to take a really quick sprint through the attendee journey. And we used this journey during some focus groups that happened during August for the industry to take part in. The journey that I'm about to show you is for the Explorer type, and it shows you some of the ways that the experience profiles can be applied. The hot pink track on the left is the attendee experience, and on the right in a kind of ranger teal is the track with the planner touch points that we're going to look at today. So next slide, please. This slide is showing us the phases of the journey: awareness, momentum, up to registration. So when you use the Experience Profiles product, you'll receive a quiz that includes your event branding, customized intro copy, and as people complete the quiz, there's custom copy at the end with your call to action to register. You'll receive recommendations for the ways in which you can tailor follow-up communications for the different profiles to the channels that are more native to them. And this helps build momentum and kind of encourage them in that buying process as they move towards the decision to attend your event. And it's during this set of the journey phases that you're going to have a series of check-ins with Storycraft Lab to help you apply the experience profiles. First of all, we'll check in and talk about the overview of your content strategy. Then we'll host a workshop for you to invite your internal stakeholders to kind of map out your event design and consider how this aligns to the experience profiles. And these workshops are really fun for building engagement within your team and maybe even bringing a couple of like vocal attendee advocates along to get them involved in the process as well. And it helps you to identify gaps or areas to rebalance. Let's say that you've got a lot of things for the Explorer profile type, but not a lot for the Thinker. Okay, what can we do to even that out and ensure that those different tracks are available, right? And then we work with your platform provider to determine how all of this will fold into the tech platform. So as I mentioned, we've really kind of figured out how this would be presented and utilized within the Hub platform. Really excited that yesterday we got to meet with Socio for another event that's using the experience profiles, and they had some great ideas for how it could be integrated on their platform. So there's a lot of opportunities for how this could work that are very exciting. And then finally, we provide you with an event guide that can be delivered to your registered attendees to help them prepare for the event, right? What are the experience profiles, how they intended to work, and what will they drive for your experience at the event? So next slide, please, Liz. Now, you'll also receive, when you sign up for the experience profiles, a brand kit that includes artwork assets for integration into the site, but also kind of templates for pre-event communications. Things that can be used to encourage influencer posting. This is especially helpful if you're working with brilliant folks like Snowball to get the message out there, right? And it's also a great time to consider integrating your sponsors. During the focus groups, we heard a lot of ideas about how certain sponsors might be really interested to sponsor a series of activities that might be directed at the Explorer type or the Seeker type, right? And kind of giving them access to really kind of engage with a certain experience profile. So all of this time, Storycraft Lab will be helping you to track the quiz data that's coming in. How many different profiles do you have attending? And really kind of understanding your planning around who's planning to attend, right? And once folks arrive, we're then going to give you that set of resources that you can provide to attendees on the platform. These might be backdrops to use, badges, things that can get integrated throughout the experience. So next slide, please. All right, so as your amazing event takes place, we'll provide a series of feedback questions and fun ideas for integrating the collection of feedback into the experience. And post-event, we'll help assess the engagement data and provide you with a summary analysis of what happened. And this would be kind of in concert with the platform that you're using. And when you use the experience profiles, you'll also have access to a Storycraft Lab community forum, which will provide resources and tools to support you as a practitioner and provide you with insights and behavioral trends that we're seeing across the industry. So next slide, please, Liz. So all of that shows that the experience profiles really kind of augment your process as well as the experience product for your attendees. They engage the audience in kind of co-creating the experience, feeling like it's tailored for them, helping to identify channels for communications that will resonate, providing you with recommendations for interactivity that supports social styles and networking, content delivery mixes that helps your messaging stick, and formats for learning that really resonate. But most of all, they also provide benchmarks that you can use to guide your post-event analysis and insights to fuel your event creation year-round. So the experience profiles are intended to be platform agnostic. So we're hoping that we'll see them kind of used across lots of different types of events and platforms, and we'll get insights then into trends as a whole. So for example, when we introduced the experience profiles in 2020, we were consistently seeing results returning for about 30% of seekers, right? This was the early days of COVID. Everybody was just desperate not to be in the house and wanting to kind of get back to normal. We hadn't really kind of adjusted our mindset around what normal was. But in 2021 now, we're seeing that attendees that identify with that seeker group has actually dropped below 10%. And we're seeing the embrace of the kind of slightly more solitary or introspective mindsets, the explorers or the thinkers. And perhaps this reveals a growing comfort with providing for the needs of our inner introvert. So we're already starting to see kind of movement around these different profiles, and it's telling us things about what attendees want and need. So on the next slide, Liz, thank you. This shows that journey that I just provided to you in a very visual, meandering and delightful way that Becca on our team put together. Yay, Becca. But this is a much more linear fashion. So we do coordinate with you on your schedule. So the pieces of this, while we're showing kind of sequentially here, can move around depending on kind of where your schedule is as a planner. Just this, I think this format does help to make sense of that meandering journey that I shared earlier. And next slide, please. Here it is again, another interpretation, but with even less color. So this is important because it shows you the pricing structure that we're using during this in-market test phase. So one of the things that we heard from the focus groups was a desire to use the experience profiles across multiple events within a year, right? So you can really begin, it gives you that kind of nice swift on-ramp and set of benchmarks for personalization. But then when you start to analyze the data and kind of continue to evolve and refine, you really do get to see some exciting insights around personalization. So you can see on the bottom right there that there's a cost of $11,000 for the first event, and then it drops significantly for subsequent events. And right now, the other thing that I wanted to share is that we're offering a significant discount for early adopters. So as a part of the early adopter program, you'll agree to give us input and feedback to the process and deliverables, so that while you're collaborating with us essentially in this kind of in-market prototyping phase, we can continue to refine the structure and the process. And you can see here, I'm calling this the experience profiles, like off the shelf. The focus groups did uncover another need from some folks that were asking, like, can we come up with a system where we white label essentially the experience profiles and maybe change the names depending on, you know, I think for bigger brands and some organizations, they might have an interest in doing that. There is an additional kind of pricing structure for that if anybody's interested in, I'm happy to speak to. All right. Did I make it in time, Liz, or did I go way over?
You did not go way over, but this is super interesting. So it was worth sharing. I am seeing Francis says this is brilliant. I haven't seen anything like this before. Totally agree with Maya, who says such a thoughtful tool. This is the kind of thinking that as planners, we need to be doing a lot more of. You know, we spend so much time kind of obsessed with like, which platform are we using?
Yes, yes.
And that's so important. But now we are 18 months into this, and we have to really think about what does this journey look like for our attendees? Who are our attendees? It's
right.
super, super interesting.
And I think the intent is there, and obviously the understanding is there, right?
Sure.
But we're all barreling along with like this kind of crazy schedules that we keep in the world of events, where the events are kind of one after the other. And it's difficult sometimes to kind of carve out the opportunity for that on-ramp to personalization, right? Because you know, I think the idea of personalization in a kind of broad way, if you were doing it kind of solo, you know, you would sit down with your last event, you'd kind of immerse yourself in the data, you'd emerge 2 months later with some insights to start working with. And quite frankly, not a lot of us have the time to do that within our daily lives. So we're actually kind of excited about using the profiles as this set of archetypes that in many ways, like the data and the knowledge is kind of crowd funded, so crowdsourced. We get to benefit from the insights that we generate all together across all of our events, right? The more we know, the more we know. It's kind of this wonderful unpacking.
Yeah, and it's as people are thinking about 365 communities and doing events regularly, that we're not talking about once a year and you have 11 months to think about it and plan it. We're moving a lot faster than that. I love the idea of the templates, just giving people some ideas on communications, and obviously they can customize them for their brand.
Yes. But that the Explorer type, if you are able to find them and message them specifically through a quick video on Instagram Reels, they are going to stop and watch and listen and pay attention to what you're saying there, right? So it's really nice to think about how those communications channels can be tailored and made more effective. Because, I think that we've all gotten comfortable with social media content being kind of one size fits all, but actually it's going to feel much more interesting if I notice, and people do notice, that I'm receiving different communications in different areas. It's going to pique our interest. And I especially love the idea that just by getting people involved in the quiz and the feedback process, you're engaging your audience as co-creators. And inherently what I see is when people have a hand in shaping their event experience, they feel more positively about that event experience on the outcome, because they were part of creating it in the first place,
And they show up, which is so key.
Yes, we were really excited about that piece of data. Super excited. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I knew Anthony Vade was going to love this. He says user-centric design vital for events to have long-term impact. Yes. I am very sad that we're out of time, but so glad that you got the chance to share this with our audience. Please do contact Naomi and the team at Storycraft Lab. The email address is here on the screen. And then would you recommend otherwise that people go to storycraftlab.com?
Yes, please.
Okay. I figured. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me. Thanks. Good to see you.
All right. So that wraps up our October Techsy Talk showcase. So excited to have you guys here. Thank you for all of your questions and comments. I love seeing the technology and the non-tech options as well, and the mix of those to make our events better. There's just so much out there, and it's really exciting to think about what we could be doing and how this impacts everything that we do. So if you have not already and you are a planner, join the collaborative group that we have. Go to techsytalk.com/member. We are doing these events. We do our Techsy Talk Global event. We do monthly networking opportunities, monthly educational opportunities. It's all, there is a paid option, but there is also a free option. I encourage you to join the VIP group, where we are really masterminding as planners, from a planner to another planner, really thinking through how we can be more strategic with our events, learning lessons from each other. So please do join. Thank you to all the companies who participated today and save the date. We don't have the exact date, but we know January 2022 is going to be our next showcase. Again, in between now and then, we have lots of other networking and educational events. So make sure you're at techsytalk.com/member. Join us. Thank you, Peggy, for having the time to join us, making the time to join us today. Sean, I see Amelie's here, Francis, Alvita, Tess, Anthony Vade, of course, I've seen you here. Thank you for joining. John Carey, there's so many great people here. So thank you for taking the time to learn how to make your events better, looking at these awesome tools. And thank you to all the companies that shared in the last, my goodness, 2.5 hours or so. Has been a crazy time. Love sharing this event and look forward to the next one. I will see you all soon, and have a great day.